Hey, streets. Hold on 1 second. We gotta get Queen T. One moment. Okay, so she joined. Okay, she's trying to join. It's our first time live on our Insta, I believe. So bear with us. Okay, so she's unable. Let me try to send it again. Okay.
I won't let me do
Hey,
it on my
boo.
laptop. What's up, streets? I'm dead. This is our first live.
It is on Insta.
We went
We've
on
been live on Facebook before.
when?
Remember we went to Bar Taco. We
Ooh.
were in Stamford, Connecticut, and we were like
Every
somewhere.
time
We
I
were
hear
live.
Barsaco, I get excited. I'm playing with these
So
filters. Okay.
yes,
This
girl.
girl is on fire. I'm dead. So we was on an interview today, and it went real cool. It
The
was
first
fun.
interview that was so fun. Shout out
Shout out to
to
Morning
Morning
Mimosas.
Mimosas.
Some real cool ladies. Make sure you go follow them. Say what's up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's lit.
It is lit. That was
Happy
fun.
Sunday. You look fire.
Yes. Thank you, Boo. It's a filter, but
You like the
thank you.
hearts?
Oh, I like that one with the pink heart.
Them glasses giving me life
Mm-hmm.
though.
Thank you. These are actually my backup here. So I'm waiting on my new glasses. A long story with that. So
It's
thank
giving me
God I have these.
real librarian role play vibes. You know, I've been in my
You.
role
Thank
play mode
you.
lately.
Thank you.
So I sent
Thank
you a
you.
video. Um, hold on. Let me pull it up because I thought this would be interesting to talk about. Um,
Mm-hmm.
hold on. Let me move this out the way.
We should have warned them.
We
We should have like at least
know.
told them like.
Chapter 30 is real spontaneous, like nowadays.
Seriously, gotta get with it. Mm-hmm. Evolving.
All right, let me see. All right. So the video was, ladies, how can men lead properly? So I guess
Oh yeah.
the the conversation behind that is women saying that they want leaders, they want men to lead. So I guess the question is, how can they lead properly? Like, what are you looking for? What are the exact criteria that you're looking for in a leader when you're saying that you want a man to lead you in a relationship?
Right. When you said that, it reminded me of the conversation we had with Autumn on our episode, Autumn School or some Schools Chapter 30 on BDSM. One of our most recent episodes, just where she was talking about how um, just submitting submitting and things of that sort. So to get the full gist, go check out the episode. But it reminded me of that because a lot of men want you to submit, and some women want to be led, some don't. But for me, and I said it on the episode, I'll submit, but it's for a specific kind of man. So, so that's what it instantly reminded me of, like, just that. Like, I'm down to submit. Like, I'm ready to submit.
So what's that, like, what does he, what attributes does this specific man have?
Right. So it just can't be, I was just saying this to a guy, it just can't be like any old guy. Like, I meet you and I'm submitting. Like, it takes trust to get there. However long that happens or whatever it takes to get there, so be it. But it does take trust for me to, like, want to submit, because that's giving up power.
Shout out to Eka G. I'm so sorry. Hey, Eka G, girl. Thank you for our logo.
Hey, Eka G. Yeah, shout out to Eka G. She's the one who made a beautiful logo. Hey, J-Day. Hey, y'all. Guys, chime in. Submit. Yeah, so I can't just meet a guy and be like, oh, I'm submitting, and, like, that's just what happens. So for me, it takes me to really read his energy, and it's like, okay, you're going to lead, but where are you leading me to? Like, I have to be able to really have that full trust that if I give him control, like, I'm good. I'm in good hands. So that's one thing for me. One thing for you.
I have a follow-up question. I'm going to answer. What can he do to... What can he do to make you feel comfortable?
How he moves in his day-to-day life, how he treats me, do our values line up for the most part? Just certain things like that. If you're kind of living a life that I don't really agree with, or that, I don't really feel safe with, or whatever, like, chances are I'm not going to let you lead me. But for the right person, under the right circumstances, having the right direction, yes, I'm definitely down to be led. But I can't be like the destruction, chaos. Like, I'm trying to get away from that. So because when you let a man lead you, like, that means he's making big decisions.
I agree with that.
You gotta be okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be a lot for me. I'm open to it, but that'll be a lot for a man to have the final decision on where you guys move. Or it's like, I don't know, I guess depending on the relationship, you give your input, but if he's leading, then he is the one to make that final decision.
I agree with that. I agree. It's it's hard to submit. It's hard to be vulnerable in that way. For me, I think there's certain qualities that I would want to see in that person before I'm just like, okay, here's me. And so those qualities are, like, I would want them to be decisive. Like, I want them to have goals and have achieved some type of goals. And it doesn't have to be major or, outlandish. But if I've seen that, okay, he put his mind to this thing and he's achieved it, then that to me is a milestone. That to me is kind of like, okay, cool. Like, that's a leadership quality. How he communicates, right? So is he communicating effectively? Is he communicating in a way that we can understand each other? And some people communicate in a way that's just like hostile or volatile in a certain way. So okay, can he get his point across without doing the most, basically? And can he add value? Like, can he add to what I already have going on? Because a lot of men will say that they want submissive women, or they want to be this leader in their relationship, but they don't have the qualities that it takes to be that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what are those specific qualities? Like, what should men work on? Like, if that's what they really want, if that's what they really if they're saying that I want to be this leader in this relationship and they're not there yet, so women have to say, this is what I'm looking for. Like, this is what I need. And maybe that's something that they could grow on and be like, okay, well, I need to be more decisive, or I need to work on my communication. Like, I think we need to give them specific examples of this is what you need to work on. Hey, Mark.
Right. And I feel like, hey Mark. Hi Misty 40. Hey everybody. We love you. I feel like communication is a big one because for each couple, how that man is gonna lead, how that woman is gonna submit, I think it's gonna be different. So he made a great point. If you I want a woman to submit, but you don't really know what that entails in general and then specifically for your relationship, like, because again, we always say this, but some people just say stuff just to say it, or they hop on a bandwagon just to hop on it, and they don't know where they're going, and that's where the chaos happens. So I agree with that. Another thing I'll add is consistency. How he shows up. You gotta be consistent, like in a few different areas, financially. You just gotta be a consistent person for me to give you that trust, almost like blind trust, because if you're kind of like in and out, that means like I don't know. That's just
yeah. I agree. Like it's not like I don't think they see it as a responsibility. Like I think they see the benefit that comes along with it, but they don't see that this is like it's a role, it's a responsibility.
Yes.
And so there's certain things that you need to have in order to hold up that responsibility, in order to like keep that title. So like, for example, if you're a store manager of a company, you're a leader, and you have to have certain aspects to keep that title. You have to be able, it's not just a dictatorship. It's not just okay, I'm gonna tell you what to do. That's easy. Like you can just go tell people what to do, but how long are they going to continue to do that? I feel like, go ahead.
Yeah. My bad. I was gonna say, what's your vision? Like, what is your vision? Like, because if you don't have one, I think it'll be hard for you to lead, unless you're building it like as you go. But I think having a vision is super important. And
like you said, you can't just be blind leading people. Like, or like I said, if you're a store manager, like you can't just be like, okay, just do what I say. There has to be some type of investment. There has to be something for me to feel like I want to continue listening to what you say. I want to be a part of this vision that you have. It can't just be like, and I think that's where it gets lost, is that people are just like, yeah, I just want her to do what I say. Like, it don't work like that. It don't work like that.
Yeah. And I think it's important to know like your numbers per se. Like, is your situation a 49, 51, or 20, 80? Like how high, like where does the pot, like like the scales, like where exactly do they go? Because for some people, they'll listen to their wife's input, but they have the final say. But they do consider where she's coming from. And for some people, like you said, it's a dictatorship. The wife could, or whoever, the girlfriend, wife, fiance, or whatever, could make great sense, but since he's leading, it's like, nope, we're doing this. So yeah, for me, like I've been on this earth. I'll be 35 next month. Like I've been maintaining myself, so I can't. And again, I'm used to certain things, so I know it's gonna be a little tussle, and it's gonna be some areas of growth. But I do need to be with someone who is considering where I'm coming from and my experience still willing to lead, but we're going to have to discuss what that means in our relationship. Because if I don't know, like we got to both be able to talk about it. And yeah, it all just depends on like,
it's going to be a transition period.
It
can't. All right, bet tomorrow, here's everything. Like there's gotta be some type of, and like you said, whoever that person is has to be understanding of that. Like I just can't give up everything to you and be like, yeah, you decide what's best for me tomorrow. Like there has to be some type of, like I gotta see some shit first.
Do you think women, and I asked this question to a homeboy, but your perspective, do you think women should submit in every relationship? Or do you think we
do I think women should submit in every relationship?
Yes, like in enter it like being very submissive, or do you think that's something that's earned?
I hate speaking generally because I think it's different
Mm-hmm.
for everybody. Like, um,
Or what
no,
about you? Like, would you submit in every relationship moving
no,
forward?
like we've been
Mm-hmm.
saying, like it depends on the person. It depends on their attributes. So hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully I'm choosing the right person that I feel like at some point I can submit to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something I
Mm-hmm.
want to do, right? It's something that I want to achieve. It's something like
Mm-hmm.
I love being submissive. I want to be submissive, but I'm not going to be that way for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So for me
Yes.
personally, it like you said, it depends on who the person is. It depends on if they're showing me those qualities and they're showing me like I can be that way with them. Then cool. But I'm not just going off rip first date. Like, yeah, what you want me to do? What's up? Like, no.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
You have to bring that out of us, is what it seems like we're saying. Like, you got to bring it out of us. And we mentioned this too on the episode. Like, not every man is going to see that side. Not every person is going to understand that side. Autumn mentioned it. You mentioned it. Like, some people can look at it like, oh, she's this that way, she's this and that way. But you will be surprised what the right man under the right man under the right circumstances can bring out of individual people. You can ask somebody, you can ask their new guy, so different men bring out
And
different parts of
I
us
think
and
that
vice
that's something
versa.
that people don't think about. They just put a stamp on somebody and that's who they are or that's how they are.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that's how they are and who they
Mm-hmm.
are for you. Like that doesn't mean that that's
Mm-hmm.
just solid. That's just how they are. Like maybe we bring certain stuff out of different people. Like
We
I may
do.
bring fun and laughter out of this one person, but when this person comes around me, they get sad. I don't know. But like there's certain aspects about us and being with certain different people that brings different stuff out of different people. So not like
Exactly.
just automatically excluding yourself from the situation and being like, I had nothing to do with this. Like my energy didn't play anything into this. And this is how this person is. I feel like there's a lack of accountability there. Um, like, for example, my
Mm-hmm.
past relationships, I can't just be like, oh yeah, they wasn't shit. It's all them. Like maybe there's something between the two of us that just didn't work out. Like I can't just automatically exclude myself
Mm-hmm.
from the whole equation. You know?
Yes. And it takes growth to get there for a lot of people. I think a lot of the times it's like, he ain't shit, he was wrong. But it's a beautiful place when you can be like, maybe it's,
Exactly.
maybe it's just us together. Or maybe, or if you did some stuff that was toxic or whatever, owning up to it, because that's how you grow. Otherwise, like we said, you're going to keep on getting into that same situation. And
Exactly.
no.
You know what was interesting? I was watching this video the other day, and because this is a whole big topic about femininity and men wanting more feminine women and all that type of stuff. So I wasn't talking. I was watching this video, and this dude was saying that he wants. I guess his friends was like making fun of him and saying that he's submissive or whatever. Or I don't know. They were trying to figure out whether he was more submissive than he was. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, okay, so in your woman, like, would you rather, like, what percent of masculinity would you want your woman to have? Like 100% feminine, or would
Mm-hmm.
you want her to have some like type of, masculinity to her? And his answer interested me. I think he said he wanted her to be like 40% masculine, like 50% feminine. And
Mm-hmm.
he said the reason why is because he feels like a woman who's too feminine. He said he doesn't want somebody that he feels like he could just walk all over them. And he feels like there's like, he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want somebody that doesn't have a backbone or doesn't speak up for themselves, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a say so. And then he also said that he felt like that would be boring. So he felt like so it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting what people think of when they think of femininity and masculinity. Like, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, so is he saying like masculinity is like fun? But I don't know. I don't know his thought process, or is
Mm-hmm.
femininity boring? Like, I don't know. It's just an interesting topic when you think about it. Because now such a huge thing that people are so
Definitely.
hyper focused on femininity and masculinity nowadays.
Right. And I think it is more of a great thing in women and men. Like, for the most part, I don't think anything is at 100%. I feel like we all have a certain amount of both. How would
No,
you feel if you were with a man who, I know every time I start these
absolutely.
questions,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
anytime I say, anytime I'm like, how'd you feel? Or what do you already know some bullshit is to follow. It was a man who, he's like, babe, I trust you. You do what you do. I got to put the money up. Like, I trust you. Like, his approach was like that. Because there are a lot of men who want the woman, like, it might look a certain way, but the woman, she's that 51% versus his 49%.
So what exactly is the question? Like, trust me.
So say let's say it was a house, and he was just like, all right, babe, you want that house? Like, all right, let's go. Like, he's masculine in some areas, but in some areas, he's more like, I trust my wife. My wife knows that. I don't know the password to that. My wife knows it. Like, he's just so, like, you run that household. You manage that household.
So, like, decision making. So, I don't know. Like, there's certain things.
Would that be
It's just
draining?
because I make all the decisions in my work life. So I don't want to come home to that. Like, I don't want to make all the decisions. I want to be a part of the decision making. But I don't want to be responsible for all the big decisions, and don't, like, because I know that happens in some relationships where, like, the man and he just gives it to the wife, and the wife divvies it out and she takes care of, like, unless if I'm not working, then cool. But if I'm doing what I'm doing now,
Right.
like, I do that for 8 hours a day. And so I don't want to come home and be responsible for all of that. We can split it up. We can do it 50,
Right.
whatever. We can split up the responsibilities. But that's not something I want. I don't want to be responsible for all the decision making. Like, to me, it's a relief when somebody's like, okay. To me, it's a relief the opposite way. Like, figure out what to do with it. Like, to me, that's a relief. I don't feel away with that.
Yeah, it's like a helpmate. Like I feel like, for me personally, what I want is for both of us to bring our strong suits to the relationship, and what I do well, I handle what he does well, he handles, we make each other better, a good balance, like, just kind of both. Yeah. I really got to stress that I feel like it varies on the person, because I feel like some people want that relationship where maybe the woman doesn't work, and it's just like, okay, daddy, like, sure, like, she just goes along to get along. I don't want that, but I also don't want him like, here, babe, you handle it, you got it. So, we all gotta find what works for us, and communicate that to the partner if he's the right one.
Yeah,
you'll find your groove.
I agree with that. There needs to be some type of middle ground. I'm not okay with either extreme. Right. Yeah, I'm not okay with either.
Yeah.
There needs to be some type of middle ground, like, and we figure out what works best for us. Because, like you said, playing each other's strengths. Like, if, for example, that's not my strength, like, making all the decisions, I'm good at it for a specific thing, but I'm not good at that in general. So at work, I'll make decisions all day. I'm like, yep, let's do that. It works, whatever. But just in life as a whole, my brain shuts off when I get home. So I just wanted somebody else, like, let's do this. And I'm like, bet, thank you for making that decision, because I don't want to.
Right. Yeah. Again, it all just depends on what's going to work for you. And, yeah, because if my guy, like, he want me to focus on, like, what we have for dinner, stuff like that, I don't mind, because there's going to be certain things that he'll focus on. So it's like, you kind of pick and choose, again, what doesn't annoy you. And I could say just try to make life as seamless and fun.
I agree. I think, I don't know, for me, it just works better when things just, like, and I know it's conversations that you have to have. Things can't just fall into place. But that's kind of in my delusional mindset, like how I want it to work. Like, I just want it to work easily and not be this whole big thing about, like, oh, well, I do that and you do that, and you know what I mean? But like I said, I do conversation. Like,
I know.
but past that, it should just like I would love for it to just work itself out because, but a lot of people feel like a lot of
Right.
people feel like they're being used or they're scared of being taken
Exactly.
advantage of. So they want to stress that, like they want to stress and make sure that they're on the same page. My idea is that even if you stress that, if somebody is taking advantage or if somebody is trying to use you, they're just going to do that temporarily. So they're going to agree with whatever you're saying whatever
Mm-hmm.
you're saying temporarily, and then 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, they're really going to show what they was really there for, and so that doesn't matter. So that's why I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to like I don't want that to be a big thing. Like, let's just figure out what works for us and let's just go about that.
Mm-hmm. It does work that way sometimes where things just happen naturally. It might have to be a convo or two just for like some little adjustments, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like this big production.
Do you think all men cheat?
Mm-hmm. I'd say 95%.
I think that's a good number. I,
I think most men cheat, but I
why?
wouldn't say
Like
all.
why? Yeah.
Why do they cheat? Why do men cheat? Any guys on here want to get up
Come join us.
and
Join us. Join the
add
call.
to? Um, some men say it's just in their nature.
It's in there.
You know, I feel like people get like their nature to like want to like hunt and get new things, different things. I feel like people get bored. I feel like men love new things. They love new, you know, fill in the blank. I feel like,
And women don't.
yeah, I feel like a lot of men love that.
Like, what do you think the
Um,
ratio is
if
to
I had
women
to
cheating and men cheating?
say, I would say 95% of men cheat and
Wow.
70% of women cheat. No, because women cheat too. They do. I don't know if it's that high, but I would say a lot of women do cheat. I do think it's less than men. But women cheat. Some women too, like they're not being satisfied, or women like attention. They like, so if their man is not giving, men like attention too. So I feel like whatever you're not getting in a relationship, um, if you feel like if somebody else is bringing that in a different way, you might get distracted. You might step out.
I
I guess.
think so. What is considered cheating, first of all? Like, is it just sexual intercourse, or is it liking other people's pictures on social media? Is it having conversation? Like, is a conversation outside of your, like, let's say, for example, you have a hot and heavy conversation. Is that considered cheating? Like, what is actual cheating? What do you consider cheating?
I feel like cheating is whatever. Um, I
Okay.
feel like it's specific to the relationship. Here I go again with the conversation, but I do stand by, like, I feel like if you're okay with your guy liking pictures and, doing certain things and he's okay with that, then that's not cheating because they're not going against the rules. But I feel like, for some women, that is cheating. For me, liking pictures is not cheating. It could be disrespectful. Like, there's this guy, he likes a bunch back in the day on Instagram when you could see like what people like. He liked a bunch of crazy pictures, like, and was married. And all you would see, anytime you would see his name, you would just know it was gonna be raunchy behind pictures. Would I want my man doing that all day? No, because certain things lead to things, certain things say things, but necessarily like liking pictures, I wouldn't call it cheating. It could just be disrespectful or distasteful. But I really feel like cheating depends on what you and that person um, agree to not being
So
appropriate for
do
your
you think that
relationship.
needs to be a
So
conversation, like in the beginning, like, hey, this is what I feel like.
it might just naturally happen where what you don't play about and he knows. Or some people you might have to like outright say, like, what do you consider cheating? What do you consider cheating? Because y'all may not be on the same page. He might feel like he could have a work life. Women making him lunch, you know, this, that, and the third. He was like, I ain't kissed her, I ain't fuck her, so I'm not cheating. You might feel like that's disrespectful, you know. So I feel like it is good to have that conversation because otherwise, some people like to play,
That's
oh
fact.
well, you never said it, or oh well, you know. So I would want to know what my guy deems as, you know, cheating, and we might not agree on everything because this is real life. Is a man gonna be on social media and not like pictures of women? He's gonna see it, so liking it, he still sees it. Some women don't want men looking at other women. Like it's crazy.
What do you? So
They
I
out
hear
there.
that a lot about like liking pictures, and to me, like I can't wrap my mind around it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could understand that like liking a picture could lead to somebody sliding into the DMs or whatever, but I feel like I guess it depends on what the picture is. Like if he's liking Beyonce's pictures all damn day long, like clearly there's very
Right.
slim chance that she's going to slide in his DMs.
What if it's like
Again, I
OnlyFans
feel like there's
girl?
a very slim
'Cause that's what
chance that this
I used to see.
OnlyFans girl. But
Okay.
my thing is, if it's a homegirl down the street and you like all her pictures, then I feel like that's different because I feel like in your mind you're thinking there's a possibility that you about to hit up, you know, Shaniqua. But like if it's like, you know, Instagram models or, you know, fucking OnlyFans models, like okay, you know, have at it.
How would you feel if your bae had mad people on his
First,
OnlyFans? Like he spent a significant amount of money on OnlyFans.
the fact that he has OnlyFans needs to be like
Like he don't have one, but he
he doesn't.
subscribes. If that makes sense. Like he spent, he got good
That's
money,
what
but
I'm
he
saying.
spent
The fact
hella
that
money on
he's a
OnlyFans.
member
Oh,
on OnlyFans
okay.
is like that
Okay.
conversation right there. I feel like
What if
that you
he's heavily
could
into
be into
porn?
porn, but like, why are you on? My question is not out of like relationship wise. My question is like, why are you paying for something that could be free? So that's my whole like. That's where I'm coming from. It's like, why do you have a OnlyFans
Okay.
to begin with? Like, go on Pornhub and watch it for free.
You know they like when those girls message them, they feel
That's a problem
special. I
to
guess
me.
like you
Like
get
that's a
messages and stuff sometimes.
that you feel like that you, especially if you're in a relationship and you feel like I don't know, that's weird behavior for me. That's weird behavior that you feel like comfortable enough to
Okay.
go on this, have this one random girl talk to you, and 9 times out of 10, it's not even her talking to you. 9 times out of 10, she is, especially if she's high up there, it's a
Girl.
team. So there may be a dude, unless it's like a face to face
Mm-hmm.
thing. But if she's like typing and messaging you, like it could be anybody behind that screen. Um, so yeah, for me, that's just weird behavior. Like one, that you have a membership to begin with when there's free stuff out there. Two, that you feel so like excited about this random ass girl who may not even be this random ass girl. That's bad. It's like the fact that you need that validation for me is a little bit like I'm cool on that. What about you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If he will subscribe to people on OnlyFans,
Yeah.
no, that's a lot. That's a lot. If he if he told me if he told me there was like this one OnlyFans girl that he liked or thought was attractive, yeah, he has eyes. He's gonna see. But as far as like him being subscribed and to a lot of
Yeah. I
different
mean,
women,
doing
that's a
the
lot. More.
like what's
That's a
the
lot
deeper
for me
issue here? That's what I'm
personally.
thinking about. Like why are you?
Yeah.
But the first question that you asked me, you said, "What if he watches a lot of porn?" Um, to me,
Yeah.
is it depends on if it's an addiction. Like if it's an, then that's the
Mm-hmm.
problem. But like if you watch porn because you like to watch porn, that's not a big deal for me. Like watch porn.
Right. Okay.
I would rather that than you'd be out here really fucking.
What if he? And some men see it like that.
That
Some women don't
can't
want
wrap
their
my
man
mind around
watching
that
porn.
either. Like I don't know. Like see, this has been a
That
theme for me lately. This delusion, like the delusion of you
that
thinking that you're the only person in the world that this man is looking at, and you're the only person that's like attractive or attracted to this
yeah.
man for this man or whatever is delusional. Like, and I feel like that some women want to be like, and it's okay to want to be the main attraction or whatever, but it's delusional to think that that's the case. That's not That's not realistic. There are plenty of women in this freaking world. Like, they're going to see other women that they are attracted to, that they want to fuck. And so kudos to them for not fucking those women. I feel like that should be a round of applause for actually not doing it. But to think that they're not going to look at them is delusional.
And when your man acts like he doesn't, and it's only you, that's a red flag. Because that's impossible. Like people say, I'm married, I'm blind.
Now you don't have to put it on Front Street though. Like, you don't got, oh, that bitch is bad. Like, right? Yeah. Like, you don't got to do all that. But like, to think that he's not looking at other women is wild. It's crazy, because he is.
I only for you.
I mean, it sounds good, but
what if your dude had a huge celebrity crush on a woman who looks nothing like
that? Has
ain't that wild?
I mean, I guess, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's just thinking too deep into it. Like, because I've dated people that have looked. First of all, let me start here. I have multiple celebrity crushes, and none of them look alike.
And they don't look like that.
None of them look alike. And I've had exes that didn't look anything like my celebrity. I don't know. I feel like that's looking too deep into it. Like, he just likes that person. Like, I'm not comparing myself to that celebrity crush. I mean, yeah, they entitled to that.
What about men that say like they have to watch porn in order to get turned on?
I've never experienced it. I guess if it did happen, I'll be like, I don't care.
Or better yet, I seen this guy, he got OnlyFans, and I bumped into his Instagram page. And he said, how would you feel if a man said, I got to get hard first, like before you had sex? Because you know how women say, like, oh, give me wet first. I don't know, I guess, give me wet first. He said something like, how would you feel if men said, like, I got to get hard?
They do got to get hard first.
I guess he was saying that because some women feel like,
oh,
I'm here,
they could just walk in the room and
fireworks, you know? Yeah.
I mean,
like we assume for them to be hot and ready, but for us, we're like, we may need to get revved up.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't think that's a big deal either. Like, if he got to get turned on. Like, he can't just, like, that's delusion too. Like, that's in our 20s. Like niggas is not getting hard off the wind no more. So it's like, you gotta elevate years and the times, and sometimes they gotta do a little something too to get hard, and that's cool. Like, as long as you get in there, that's cool. Like, now, yeah. Like, whatever we gotta do to get you there, then we gonna get you there. But unless it's something like I said, if it's something egregious, if it's something crazy, like, the first thing that came to my head is crazy, so I'm not gonna say that. But like, if you gotta do something,
what?
No, well, okay. So I was gonna say, it's like, if you gotta if you gotta do something crazy to get you there, like, if you gotta like insert a butt plug or some shit like that, like, if that's what it takes to like get you there, like,
yeah,
a man, no, I don't even like that for myself. Like, I don't like anything concerning ass. Like, I don't like.
So what if he's like, babe, just run him? No. He needs you to run up and down his crack, and that gets him.
No, because then that's a whole conversation. I'm gonna be like, why? Like, what? Like, I'm good.
It's a fetish.
I'm good. We need to talk about. That's the conversation that we need to talk about. Like, in the beginning, we need to talk about like what do you really, and don't lie. Like, be honest. Like, What really are you into? Because don't 2 years down the line introduce some shit to me and now we have a problem.
So what if he finds
He
out 2
didn't
years
know in the
down the line
beginning.
that that's something he likes?
I'm asking, he didn't know in the beginning. So
He
how he
gotta,
found that
no,
out?
yeah, he didn't know in the beginning. He's just like, or what if he's like, babe, like, I want to try anal, like anal play. Like, I've never done it before, but I don't know. I'm
I'm gonna be like, I've
interested
done
in
it
it.
before
I
and I
ain't
don't like it,
gay,
so
but, you know.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Like, yeah. I'm serious. Like anything concerning back there, like I don't care if it's me, him, them, I'm good on that.
Because some people, that's the whole thing. Like, they gotta have a thumb up the butt.
I don't need none of that.
Yeah. To each their own.
I'm good on that. And if he tells me that 2 years later, now my mind is going to like where did this come from? You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm on edge because I'm like, we've been together for 2 years. You ain't say nothing about no ass. Now out of nowhere, you talking about ass cracking and like sliding up your ass.
What if he's like, I just evolved?
But
Like, I'm
something
just,
has
like,
to
yeah,
ignite that
I'm
change. Like
changing. Like,
something sparked that thought. Like, did you come across a video that was like, oh, okay, like, or when a nigga slapped your ass and now you like, ooh, like, I like that shit now. Like, I need to know. Like, we need to go through the steps first for me to like understand where did this evolving come from.
right. So before we leave, I have to ask you, do you think all men cheat?
Not all, because I know for sure. I know men who have not cheated, who are in relationships and have not cheated.
Yeah.
So I know not all men. I know that for sure. I do agree with you. I think it's a very high percentage of men that cheat. Yeah. And I think, or have cheated at some point in their lives. But so how, with knowing that information, so in your mind, you said your statistic is 95% of men cheat. So that's a very, very high percentage. So going forward in dating or relationships, like how does that attribute to your mindset while dating? Like, is that something that's a part of your mindset? Are you thinking about that? Or you're just like, or what if it happens? Are you like, well, 95% of men cheat, so.
I mean, I try to date people on a one-on-one basis, so you know, they may fall in 95%, they may fall in that 5%. I like to start the relationship off thinking that, you know, we'll both respect it, but yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah, I like to enter it like, you know, we're gonna respect each other, we're gonna, you know, start on this good page, but I guess if it happens, would I be surprised? I have been surprised in the past in different relationships, like if like by certain things people did. So it could still catch me by surprise. Like, because again, there are some men who they don't cheat. So if I feel like my man don't cheat and he cheat, I might be like, damn.
Mm-hmm. So you go into it thinking, like, let's say, for example, you've been talking to somebody for like 3 months or something. At that point, you can kind of get a good idea of this person. So are you automatically putting him into that 5% bucket, or are you putting him into that 95% bucket? Like, are you preparing yourself for him to be a part of that 95%, or you go into it like, you know what, I'm going to give him a chance, he's in that 5%?
I think in the back of my head, I'm always like, you know, people could do whatever, but I do try to go in and go strictly based off what they tell me, what they show me until they show me or tell me something differently. Yeah. So I don't want to be like, yeah, right, you probably cheat. Like no, like if you say you don't, you know, I'm like, you never cheated, and you'll be like, no, I never did. We may have a discussion about that, just talking, learning about it. But if that's what he says,
I agree. Like, I feel like, you know, if you go looking for something, you're gonna find it. We say that all the time. If you looking for something, you're gonna find it regardless of what you're looking for. Right. So like if I'm in a relationship, I don't go I try not to create problems that are not there. Like if it's not a problem that's sitting in front of me, and I just am like that. Like I just don't have the energy to focus on shit that's not presented in front of me. So like if it's not a problem, then it's not a problem. But I'll deal with it if it becomes a problem.
Yeah, if it comes. Because you have to just blindly trust a lot of things. If you have a friendship with a friend, all friends are backstabbers. Like, a lot of people aren't necessarily thinking that. Some are, but I don't know. I'm going to take people as what they tell me. We're going to go from there. We're going to grow from there. And then if it turns out that friend, XYZ or whatever, then it's like, damn, but, I don't want to be scorned. Because life is all about taking chances. So, cliche and corny as that is, like, and then you start to see red flags. You start to see certain things that go against that. Then, you start to have to move a little different, or at least hold those things, in your pocket. Like,
I think you start setting yourself up for disaster when you say stuff like, you can't trust no one or you can't trust anybody, because one, that's saying that you can't be trusted. And two, it's like, if you're already setting yourself up in that mindset, if you're already putting yourself in that mindset, it's like you're not going to find that, right? You're not going to find somebody that can be trusted because you're automatically assuming that nobody can be trusted. All actuality, there could be people out there that can be trusted. You just blocked yourself off because you got hurt a few times or once. So that's self-sabotaging in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's the energy that you're putting out there too. So you're putting that out there. I can't trust nobody. Like, I feel like you are gonna attract that more often than not. So, everything is a chance. You tell somebody your business, you gain a new friend, whatever it is, like that's all a chance. Like you don't know. It could be something crazy or something wonderful, but
I was looking at this. I don't even know if I want to talk about this.
Is it something on social media?
It's something you sent me on Friday at 10:49 p.m.
Oh God!
You what?
I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna say, do you want to talk about Sister Soldier's book? I was like, it's off topic, but do you want to talk about?
You know what? I'm more comfortable talking being not. It's like whatever. It's just
shit.
But, all right, streets. If we save this live, just remember chapter. What's the name of the book, first of all? Okay, bet.
Life After Death, right?
I don't highly recommend this book because I was just so. I think I can speak for both me and Miss K, but we were both lost like throughout this entire book. But there's some shit in this book that hits. Anyway, Sister Souljah came out with a book entitled Life After Death. And if you ever read The Winter, what's the coldest winter ever?
The coldest winter
this
ever.
is a part of that saga. So, yeah, it was like 10 years after she wrote the fucking first book, she came up with the sequel. But there's some when you're reading this book, there's some stuff that's real crazy. And the crazy thing about it is after I read this book, like there's certain interviews or there's certain things that have popped up that is legit this on the same weird ass frequency of this book that she wrote. So just a quick, there's a one scene or one part of this book that we always talk about.
The club scene. First of all, don't read this book expecting the same vibe from The Coldest Winter Ever. It is not like that at all. Same characters, but you're going to feel like a totally different person wrote this book. So just get your expectations adjusted. Don't go in there thinking it's about to be like literally part 2 of that. No, she was on a whole another like level. So
no, it's nothing. Nothing like ever at all. Like, I remember being in high school, turning those pages like, ooh, 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 ooh. This book, there were certain parts of the book that were page turners, but then there were parts of the book that I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I can't even imagine what was in her mind.
Like, why did she
It's
put
real
this
deep.
here? What's the
It's real deep.
significance?
Whereas, like, The Coldest Winter Ever was very,
It
it was what it was, right? Like, you didn't read it. You didn't really think too much into it. You didn't have to think too deeply. You just read the pages and it was good. It was a good story. Whereas Life After Death, it was like I think I might have went to Google a few times to be like, oh, research this. So,
yeah.
No.
It's not like
it's a pretty heavy. It's a really heavy.
You're gonna put it down and be like, what? You're gonna pick it up a few days later. You're gonna want to get to the end. You're gonna be forcing yourself past a lot of things, and then there's gonna be some parts where you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's actually a really heavy read. But there's one scene in the book, not even a scene, there's a setup in the book. Oh, this might be all right, so spoiler alert, Paul, get out of this if you don't want to hear what happens. But there's a part in the book where Winter dies, right? Winter dies and she goes to hell. And this is where shit gets real crazy. Like, it gets real dark real fast. Like, it just skirt has left. So, and I don't know if you remember, Rand, but I sent you a voice message and you didn't answer me. But anyway, so she was in
about the
yeah, I was telling you about how Orlando Brown was saying the same thing that she was saying in the book. Yes, there's an interview with Orlando Brown, and he was talking about panda eyes. And he was like, whenever you see somebody with panda eyes, that means they got fucked in the ass. And he said,
what kind of panda eyes? Like,
yeah, he's like, whenever you see, and they showed pictures of like NBA YoungBoy like posing like for a photography shoot with the black eyes. So basically he was saying that's representative of like them being fucking ass. And then so this is where people thought Orlando Brown was crazy until I compared it to what the fuck Sister Soldier said in her book. So Orlando Brown said, there's a nerve. This is Streets, just hear me out. Hear me out, Streets. He said there's a nerve in your ass that when you, who's in here? Okay, there's a nerve in your ass that when you touch it, it turns you into an animal, right? So,
oh my God,
dead ass. So when he said that, so obviously everybody in the comment section was like, "Oh, he's crazy, he's bugged out." But after reading Sister Soldier book, I was like, "There's no way. There's no way at that." So okay, Streets. Little bit of a background. In this book, Winter's in hell, and she's with a demon. Like, she's with the devil's son.
Look at the eyes.
Huh?
Look at the eyes.
Look at the comments. Lip talk. We real deep into this right now. So I know you caught us in the middle of something real crazy. But she was dating. I think she was dating the devil's son at first, but she was trying to get to the devil. Like, she thought that was the shit. So the devil's son was fucking her in the ass, and every time he fucked her in the ass, she would turn into a different animal. So that's when I was reading the book. I was like, okay, this is interesting. That was very interesting.
That part was interesting.
So that was the first part that kind of threw me off, because I was like, okay, what does this mean? Like, what are you trying to say when she's writing these words? Like, it can't just be for nothing. She didn't come up with this idea and be like, oh, okay, yeah, let me fuck her in the ass and she turned into an animal. So then that's one of the things that I correlated to what Orlando Brown said. Orlando Brown said there's a nerve in the butt, you touch it, you fuck it, and you turn into an animal. I'm just repeating what these people are putting in these books and in social media. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not saying know anything about it. I'm just like, okay, that's a weird quinky dink. Then the second part of it that really stood out for me was there was a club scene. So the devil was
they had like a long tail.
I can't remember
how she described him was just
but
so vivid.
Who's the hottest? Like, let's say the devil was Drake.
I think he was
like hottest nigga out.
Music is so important in this book.
I can't even. Y'all need to read this book. But anyway,
yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you about something else that I watched last night about music. Oh no, it's the same video I was talking about. Never mind. So okay, so in Hell, they went to this club, and it was jumping. Like you could hear the music from the outside. Like it was lit, like live. And there was mad people standing outside in the line. Long story short, they would go into this club, but they would never come out. So that club, that music, that whole lifestyle was leading them to their demise, basically. And so that really hit for me because I'm like, yo, that's real life. You know what I'm saying? That's like that. People are listening to music nowadays. People are listening to what's hot and what's current, what's popping. But if you listen to the lyrics, it's leading people to their demise. Like drill music is lit right now and forever. Like people have been talking about shooting and killing and fucking on your baby daddy and all types of perks and drugs and all that type of stuff. Like nothing that is mainstream right now is anything that's uplifting or supposed to be building you up in any type of way. It's all leading you to your demise. So I thought that was really interesting. And then Miss K sent me this video. Miss K, of
a pastor who basically said he died and came back to life. He died and came back to life, and he said that he experienced something with music as well. He was talking about how the songs we listen to on Earth have a direct kind of correlation to the songs that are in hell, and demons write these songs for us to sing and kind of lead people to their destruction. So even people that's oh, I gotta smoke to write this song, or I gotta get drunk, you're letting that spirit kind of overtake you to kind of possess you to write about these things. So but in the Bible, didn't they say the devil played music really well or something like that? Doesn't he have something? I feel like the devil in music, there's something there. Don't judge me. I can't remember. But yeah, so this man came back. So it's for the pastor, he wasn't really in hell. He was kind of in a in between place, and basically he was given a second chance to come back and really do what he had to do. And for him, a lot of it was he had to forgive people. He had to let certain things out of his heart. And then back to the book, Winter, she wasn't really in hell either. There was lessons that she had to learn, and she kind of was just making her same mistakes. You will see some of that from the old book. She's an adult now, but she just kind of had to I guess evolve or go from her mistakes. There was even some stuff about abortions in there. Those kids, remember her kids? It's just a lot. If you're into reincarnation, if you're into afterlife, spirituality, I recommend the book. Is it the best book I ever read? No. Is it a book that changed my thoughts and kind of brought me to a different space in a weird way? Yes. Do I agree with everything she put? No. But it's definitely a book I feel I'm going to reference for years, especially with T. We talk about it.
So the part in that video was, and I apologize if you brought it up already, was when he was wait, I might be confusing stuff. Did he talk about like a demon following you went from a kid and now you're okay?
Yes. The demon was holding a guy
Yes.
like
Okay.
as a
Okay.
dog or something like that.
Yes.
That
That's the part that I
was
was like, wait, hold
crazy.
up. So he was saying that, okay, let's just put it into perspective. Like, let's say, for example, you're struggling with something just from, you have demons, right? You have demons from the time that you're young, you grow up, you're still struggling with these demons. So what he's saying is that basically in this life that we're living in now, this human experience that we're having, that you're a slave to that demon, right? Like you're still you're struggling with whatever this demon is attacking you with. Let's say it's addiction. Let's just say that that demon is inflicting addiction on you. And they like the demon does it purposely, and the purpose is that in the afterlife, if you can't rid yourself of that demon in the afterlife, you become their slave. So they do it purposely. They ride you, like they're on you. They're like, yeah, get addicted to this. Yeah, get addicted to this. Ooh, try that. Ooh, try that. And they do that purposely because to damn your soul. And so by the time you get to your afterlife, well, the visual that he gave about this particular demon was like now the human was on all fours and he had a leash on him like he was a dog. And that like blew my mind of how interpretive that was on life, because we're not seeing it, right? We don't visibly see the things that are attacking us. But we consider it as having like something has a hold on us, right? When somebody's addicted to something, we say, oh, that drug has a hold on them. But we don't see it as like a spiritual attack, or we don't see it as there being another entity involved in it. We might say, oh, yeah, his demons got the best of him. We say that lightly. We say it not like really thinking it's a real demon. We just say it like, oh, something bad got to this person. So yeah, that just really affected me in a way, because a big thing about this whole video is that he's a priest, and so he thought he was doing the right thing. He thought the community. He thought that he was doing all these great things and treating people right and all that type of stuff. But his whole big thing was forgiveness. He was holding, and that's something that we don't think is we just talked about not trusting people, right? So like, what happened?
No, I'm listening. When he mentioned forgiveness, like I ended up journaling about that, and in my journal, it's a guided journal. It talked about like who are some people you haven't forgiven, why, and it just really made me reflect. Like, I wish I had my journal with me. I said something like I was holding on to like my not being able to forgive this person, kind of like a badge of honor, like a badge of strength, like because like and. We all know when you forgive somebody, it's not always for them, it's for you. We hear a lot of stuff, but when you really sit back and think on some people that you haven't forgiven or certain situations, like he really made me think, because like I don't know, that part really did hit me, because like we want Jesus to forgive us, but we don't, a lot of us don't really forgive a lot of people, but it's just like I know for some situations I haven't gotten there yet, but it's like, do I want to get there? How am I going to work on getting there? Because that could very well have been me, where God's like, yeah, you may have thought you had a good heart, but you didn't forgive a lot of people. So, and this guy said he was in the middle of the earth, right? Or am I thinking? Okay, I think he said he got like, he saw himself going down, and he thought he was supposed to be going up, and he was like in the middle of the earth. So.
And I think what really hit with that is that's something that people brush aside. That's something that people think is light. And so people think that if I'm not killing people, if they're not doing the absolute worst, then they're good. So they don't compare not forgiving somebody with, so if they say, okay, well, yeah, I lied to that person, but it's not like I killed them, like, so because they're not doing the absolute worst, it's not as bad as doing this, so I'm good. So that was what was the eye opening for me, because we brushed that aside. Like, yeah, I don't forgive you. Like, no, like I'm gonna hold on. We think that's something so light. So this man went to for not forgiving somebody, and that's something that we preach. We as a culture, we as a society, we as social media. That's something that's pushed, right? Like, I cut people
I
off,
cut people off.
but
Yeah, like it's so easy for me to cut
I'm
people
gonna
off.
defend
Like,
that just because I cut people off, but there's nothing. I'm not holding on to not forgiving them.
that's a good thing because some people cut people off and they don't really forgive. I don't think forgiving is a. I don't think we. I'm again generalizing, but I don't think people forgiving is really deep. Like it's it's one thing to move on from something, but to really forgive, like I feel like there's just so many levels to it, and it's not always a walk in the park. It's not really that easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like in certain situations.
I agree, but I just feel like for me personally, it depends on the situation, right? Like I could cut somebody off and I don't feel nothing about it, or I could feel like where like I'm in this phase of my life, you're on that phase of your life, and I still wish you nothing but the best, but I can understand that we're just not meant to be in a season together. And it's not no love lost or nothing. That's just but I feel like that's different from
Right. Let's add the forgiveness part to it. Let's say a friend
there has to be like
$500
there. Yeah.
And then you know what I mean? It is different. So I'm more so talking about it in a sense of like some people will just be like they'll fight and then it's just like fuck you and it's over. But if we're supposed to be forgiving people, we're supposed to forgive that. You know what I mean? So I just think it's not always that easy. People can have stuff with their parents, husbands cheat and beat them. From what it's saying, we're supposed to find forgiveness for these people. And I just don't think, me personally, I don't think it's easy, but it is something that we have to do. So, like, how do you get there? Like, how do you honestly get there?
You can say it.
I forgive everybody. I don't hold nothing. You could say it, but when you really sit back and think about who you haven't forgave, like for real, like I think forgiveness is like a whole thing. Like you'll know, like I forgive you, like I really forgive you, like you'll genuinely mean it. Versus I forgive you. It is what it is. Like that don't mean nothing. Like
it's so funny that we on this topic because this happened to me a few months ago, I want to say, where I started just realizing certain stuff and was realizing that I had to let go of certain stuff. And so I reached out to some people in my past that I was holding on to some shit. Yep. I was for years. And you know me, Ren, like I might be on something for like a day or something, but I'm over it next day. Or an hour. Like I might need to vent real quick and then I'm off that. But for me to hold on to something for a long time, that means I was hurt. That means that it was that's really egregious, like super, super egregious. So yeah, that happened to me a few months ago where I had somebody blocked. I unblocked them. And this is somebody that's like this is like one of my creators. So listen, and I was like, you know what? There's no need of me holding on to this. And I was like, listen, whether this was exactly how it went, I said, regardless of whether you think you did anything wrong or not, like that's not why I'm saying this. Like I'm saying this because I forgive you. I forgive you. Like even if you don't think you did nothing wrong. And then he went back on block. Like exactly.
You were doing it for you. Like yeah. Because y'all might not be at the same place at the same time, but a lot of the stuff is just for you. Like that's good.
And I actually did that to both of my creators, like because there's stuff like now that one wasn't as egregious, but there's just little stuff that we hold on to throughout the years, and we feel like And sometimes you don't even realize we're holding on to it, but we have to like think about it and be like, you know what? And I told you this on the podcast that I'm in a phase right now in my life where I'm accepting people for who they are. Like, it's not like living in my own brain and expecting people to have these expectations to be like whoever I see you in my brain. That's not real. How I see you in my brain is not real. Like, who you are and who you show me, that's real. So I'm in that, like, I'm slowly getting to that phase of being like accepting of people for whatever it is they show me, and it's up to me on whether or not I want to accept it in my life or not. So just because I don't accept it in my life doesn't mean that I'm holding anything. It just means I know that
yeah, right. Because what's the line between? I think some people struggle with the line between forgiving and then not accepting certain toxic behaviors. Because sometimes forgiving somebody doesn't necessarily mean you have a relationship with them, or it doesn't mean you're agreeing with what happened. It just means that's a certain part of your healing that you're in. And also, God does want us to forgive people. Like,
it's vice versa too, right? So, I know that I haven't been perfect to people in my entire. I did not go 34 years and not hurt anybody or not do anything to somebody that was hurtful or whatever, that's holding on to something that I've done to them. And so it's not all like just me. It's not just like, I would hope that whatever I've done to somebody that they would forgive me or whatever. And so it's the same.
Yes. Just like we want God's forgiveness. Just like above that, we want God.
Right. Like, I want that same grace. So I can't expect for other people to do that for me, and I'm not doing that. And some people don't, like, you sometimes you just never know. You don't know how you affected somebody. You don't know what somebody's, at the end of the night, something you may have said that that ran across somebody's mind that you're not even thinking about it twice. Like, you just went about your and so I would want that same type of grace as well, because I don't like, I can bet that I've hurt somebody's feelings along the way, and I would want that same type of grace.
Definitely.
Ooh, girl.
So I know. So guys, we'll share the video that we're talking about. Again, the book is called Life After Death by Sister Souljah. It's great. It's a great book for like a book club. We're open to talk about it. It's definitely a book that we always go back to. And there's something about the dog too. Like, that's a theme. Like, this whole dog, like that demon riding that guy like the dog. She turned into a dog, right?
All type of animal. She turned to.
Didn't she? She turned into a mouse, a snake. First it was a snake.
I think she turned into a snake a few times.
Wait. Yes, and that all had a significance. What religion was that book? Like, what faith was that book based on? Was it Muslim? I feel like when I looked into it, it wasn't like Christian. It was I feel like it was whatever Sister Souljah studies. Was it Muslim? I don't know. It
could be Muslim.
But yeah, because it with a whole thing with anal sex, abortions, like, you know, it had their like principles in there. So I definitely recommend that book. We've been dying to talk about it.
Yeah, she's Muslim.
Okay, so I believe it's based on like the Muslim faith. Because I think did Winter turn Muslim in the end? Right? Winter, did she become Muslim? Like, didn't she have to say something that her kids kept telling her to say about Allah?
Maybe. I think I know what you're talking about.
Right? Like, she had to say it, but she had to really mean it. Like, she had to say like something. Yeah. And she tried to say it. They're like, no, you don't mean it. It was something.
Y'all streets, y'all need to see that book. That book is.
Yeah, it probably sounds like what, but once you read it, you'll start.
Once you read it, hit us up. I want to know your thoughts.
Yeah. We've been having that like on our notes for the longest, but today was a great opportunity to talk about it. This was fun.
Let us know if y'all want us to go live more often. We might be able to, you know, set something up every once in a while or whatever.
Yeah, I know a lot of you are going to catch it on the replay, so let us know your thoughts. Like it, share it. Come on over to Patreon. We got some good stuff there. YouTube, everywhere. DM us with topics and questions, whatever.
Dropping, what are you dropping tomorrow?
Part 2.
Facts.
Facts.
All right, so we got part 2, BDSM part 2, dropping tomorrow, 5 p.m. We got a little vibe. We on a little roll now. So I'm guessing Mondays at 5 is our thing. So thank you, Streets, for always tuning in and giving us your feedback and all that good stuff and posting. And I've been seeing a lot more shares now often. So thank you for sharing our share or whatever. Thank you for listening. We got so much in store 23. Even this, like,
yeah.
It's been January was it. Yeah, 23 is about to be spectacular. Yeah, this